The Arizona State Sun Devils defeated the Washington State Cougars 52-31. I'm Ina Lazarev with Hod Rubino after Senior Day at Sun Devil Stadium. And Hod, today the seniors really did step up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let's go ahead and start with Taylor Kelly. He received a lot of criticism, a lot of scrutiny after the game against Oregon State, and really not performing all that great since he came back from injury. But today, 15 out of 25 completions, over 230 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. More importantly, no interceptions. Even though the start of the game was really shaky for Taylor Kelly, and I'm sure some folks are wondering, if he's actually going to finish the game, he really responded in the second quarter and beyond. So really big game for him. You look in the defense, Marcus Hardison. What else can you say about this guy? He's been an absolute tear for the last few games. Had an interception against Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. Had another interception today. Had a sack that caused a fumble. And had 2 sacks overall, and that fumble was actually returned for 51 yards by Ami Latu, and as Damaris Randall said earlier, looked like Forrest Gump out there running the ball. But another big game for him. And Damaris Randall, you talked to, one of the leading tacklers today, doing a great job in pass coverage. So even though Washington State was able to go ahead and really get a lot of their digs concerning their passing game, I think guys like Marcus Hardison and Damaris Randall, 2 of the only seniors on the defense, really stepped up big. And again, Taylor Kelly on offense, big game for him too.
It was a tale of 2 halves, and it did seem like in the first quarter there was a bit of a hangover from Oregon State. That, along with the 11 a.m. kickoff, do you think that affected the Sun Devils?
I think in some ways it's really hard to argue against that, because just like we look at the Oregon State game, all the pre-game talk before Oregon State was Arizona State's going to have the hangover after the big game against Notre Dame. They're going to be affected by the weather, and you like to go and dismiss it. You like to think the team is even kill, and then they came out and play the way they did against Oregon State. So I think there is some validity of maybe the team still having that Oregon State loss affect them. An 11 o'clock kickoff, I mean, you think it would really affect Washington State more than the home team, but maybe that played a factor too. So it definitely was a very shaky start for the game on both sides of the ball, but give credit to the Arizona State offense, and really probably more the Arizona State defense, causing 5 turnovers overall in the game, and the Arizona State offense scoring a touchdown in each and every of those 5 turnovers. Those are numbers you don't see every day, no matter if you're Pac-12 or any other of the Power 5 conferences. So that was a huge part. And I think another huge part of this is, as we know, the third quarter has been an awful period for Arizona State the last few games. Even though they won a lot of those contests, the third quarter they absolutely came out flat week after week after week. The third quarter today, the defense pitches a shutout. The offense, again, capitalizes on the mistakes of the Washington State offense and the turnovers that their defense gave them. So it was a much better showing in the second half. And again, that's something we have not seen in the last few games. So it was really huge for Arizona State to come out of that locker room after halftime and really go ahead and turn that game in their favor for the rest of the game.
I guess the Cougs just had more early birds.
Could be.
ASU's defense did give up 600 yards of offense, but the big takeaway from this game is really those 5 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in some ways it's not a surprise, because when Washington State passes the ball for over 60 times, obviously you're going to have some mistakes in there. But it shows you how much stats can be deceiving, because if you didn't look at the final score of the game, you just looked at the 600-plus yards of total offense, over 600 yards just passing, you would think that Washington State is winning this game, blowing out ASU, let alone just coming up on top. But again, the turnovers are always costly. But I think in this case, Washington State really paid dearly for them, because their defense is definitely an upper echelon unit. And when their offense gives the ball to the opponent 5 times, that spelled really bad news. I mean, again, it's not only the 5 turnovers, but scoring a touchdown in each and every turnover. I mean, that's a great testament to the ASU offense. And if you want to be honest, maybe also a testament of the quality of the Washington State defense.
The Territorial Cup game is always an exciting one, but this year there could be more on the line besides bragging rights.
Yeah, I mean, as we speak right now, Arizona State's leading at Utah, and if they come out victorious, both teams are going to be 9-2 going into that game, and you have to dig way early in the history books to find a Territorial Cup game where both teams had 9 wins. So that's pretty exciting in itself. Obviously, both teams are contingent on what UCLA does when it comes to the race of the Pac-12 championship. But I think that you're definitely seeing, for the first time in a long time, 2 quality in-state teams are really going at each other. And obviously, Arizona State wants to repeat as Pac-12 South champs. U of A is looking for their first Pac-12 South championship. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very exciting game. It's going to be a short week for both teams, so that really condenses the preparation that much more. You got Thanksgiving on Thursday. So we're really interesting to see how the teams can go in and prepare on somewhat an unconventional schedule. This one obviously gives Arizona State a lot of confidence going in. Again, the offense, I thought, really did well. With the absence of Jalen Strong, Cameron Smith steps up in a big way, over 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ Foster rushes for only 90 yards, but averages over 6 yards a carry, scores 3 touchdowns. So you're seeing the offense right now with the main playmakers really coming into play. Taylor Kill, like I said, big bounce back game for him. And again, what else can I say about the defense? They did take their lumps last game, but they played great against Notre Dame, and the performance today, I think, was just as impressive. So Arizona State is somewhat walking, I would say, confident into that game. Still some things to clean up, obviously, because, again, you didn't want to start the game like you did against Washington State, started against Arizona, because the way the Wildcats are playing this week, I think if you're Arizona State and you're going off for a bad start, you can probably really pay dearly. So that's something you definitely want to look out for. But, again, after Oregon State, it was really important for this team to bounce back. Maybe it didn't happen as quickly or as cleanly as you hoped to, but big win for Arizona State right now, and like you said, huge showdown. It's not only for bragging rights, it really is for the Pac-12 South Championship, even though UCLA is going to have a say in that too.
And I know fans of both in-state teams will be paying attention to that 6 o'clock kickoff, UCLA-USC. Keep it right here for Ina Ladrav, Hoder Bino. We'll see you guys next week.